Me. All right. All right. We are live. I know normally I try to run the little stream starting scene for a minute before we get going, but I was kind of running behind on time. So just had to hit the old stream button and jump right into things. So today, you guys see I have a lovely guest with us this evening. It is our fearless leader of the Super Retro Force, none other than Rad Bash. How are you doing this evening, brother?
I'm good, brother. Just living the dream. Good to be here.
Oh, yeah. So we are going to be just ranking 20 games on the PS2. Nothing like, I don't want to call it a top 20. That's not it, because him and I had this conversation before we were doing this. I just wanted to clarify. This is not a top 20, but we just wanted to take 20 games and kind of rank them and see where our thoughts were. And what we're going to do is I got 10, he's got 10, and what we're going to do is the only rule will be is that we can only put 2 games per section. So
Okay.
so that way we're not just overloading saying everything's an S, everything's like an S and an A, you know what I mean? So that way we're really trying to rank these how we really like them amongst themselves, you know what I mean? And then with the chat, I have a tier for the chat. So for those of you that are with us, you guys post up and let us know how you would be going about ranking these particular games as we go through. And if you haven't played them, I mean, no biggie. We can just let them sit idle if we get a low turnout, and then if not, and you guys are voting on them, then we'll throw them where you guys are wanting them. So I guess I'll just go through just the list real quick as far as what we have for today's discussion. We got Jack and Daxter. We got The Suffering, The Punisher, Shadows of the Colossus, Dark Cloud. Of course, I was not expecting anything less. And Resident Evil 4, Evil Dead. Oh God, it's
Regeneration.
Regeneration. For some reason, I was like, why does it
Yeah.
say like? Why does it look like Resurgence? But it's Regeneration because I
It's
was like, because the
regeneration.
text is so small on my end. So I'll show you guys so you can see what exactly I'm talking about. I was trying to get the chat. I was trying to get the chat open there. So, and then we got Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Dark Watch, Beautiful Joe, the original God of War, The Bouncer, Fight Night Round 2, Kingdom Hearts. And then we have Maximo. It's the first one, I believe. I just can't read what the heck it is. It's like the Ghosts of what have you, but that's the one that I've
Yeah.
personally played. Battlefront 2, Ratchet and Clank, Tony Hawk's Underground,
Nice.
and Gauntlet. I can't remember what it was called, but it was the Gauntlet game, the only one that I got to play that was on the PS2 and the original Xbox. And then Sly Cooper. So,
It's gonna be tough.
so it is. So, since you are the guest of honor, what do you want to rank first, and where do you want to put it, and why?
Oh, well, obviously, Dark Cloud.
Oh, we're gonna get that
Gonna
one
have to
right
do
out of the
that one
way, huh?
first. Yep, getting it right out. I'm gonna have to go A tier, not S tier,
Oh,
but A tier.
what? Oh,
Yep.
man.
Yeah, I know. My might
What?
confuse. Oh, yeah, no, I had to go. Yep, A tier.
I was gonna say I was immediately about to put in that's like, that's where it's
Yeah.
going.
It doesn't get S tier because it could have improved some things, but it's definitely A tier.
So it's A tier. So, just tell the chat a little bit as to like why you feel it's there. What are the things about the game that you like that draw you into it so much, and yeah, just kind of go from there.
Yeah, so I mean, Dark Cloud, for those who don't know, is a phenomenal dungeon crawling game. You will go into the dungeons, fight the monsters, you'll collect items, come out, and then you'll build the city. And it's very like it's like ActRaiser and like I don't know, it's like ActRaiser. That's the best way I could put it. But no, I love this game as a kid. I love this game to this day. I play it all the time. Like it's the one game I can just repeat, never get bored of. But yeah, I mean, the only reason I don't think it got S tier is because they did improve a lot in the second one, but then the second one lost what was good about the first one.
Yeah.
So I think if they had just improved, not changed, but improved, it would have been S tier. But I mean, yeah, it's still a phenomenal game, and those who haven't checked it out really need to play it.
And I will say this, I actually started a file once you and I were talking about doing this because I wanted to try to play it so I could get some sort of perspective on it because number one, I know you gush about it. So if I know anybody who's
Yeah.
like oozing about a game, I was like, okay, I at least got to give it a shot. So I did start a file. I played for, well, I should say it says I played for 6 hours, but because of the baby, I probably honestly only played for about, well, say 3.5 to 4. Because there was sometimes I had it going, but it was just like on a menu, and I was like, damn it, I can't play right now. But no, but from what I got to play, it wasn't what I was expecting. And it's like you say, it's similar to ActRaiser, because like when I watched you play it on your stream, I was watching you fight stuff, right? So I was like,
Right.
oh, all right, I'm like, cool. This is gonna be like, like kind of like a similar hack and slash type RPG. I'm like, sweet, right up my alley. And then I started noticing well, you got to kind of, unless I'm playing it incorrectly, I kind of felt like it's kind of a grinder. Like you kind of got to keep going back and forth through the dungeon to kind of get the items that
Yes.
you need in order to build up the little village. Or at least, I'm in the initial area. I haven't moved out past that yet. So that's where I'm currently residing, right? And I think I just got the shop opened up, and then there was a few other
Okay.
things. I think I was in like maybe the 6th or 7th. It might have been, maybe it was more than that, but I know maybe the 6th or 7th level of the cave is where I was
So
at.
did you when you got the shop set up, did the old man put the sign up or did the young dude put the sign up?
Young dude.
Okay, good. Because fun fact, if he doesn't put the sign up, the old guy breaks his back, and then he won't be able to sell you bombs because he can't go get them.
Oh God. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
it
glad that the young
yeah.
guy did it. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yes. I should look
It's
that up to
fun.
see if it's on retro achievements to break the old man's back. I just wonder if
Oh, no.
I.
I'm gonna break that old guy's back and see how that works out.
Yeah, because I mean they do have some wonky achievements on there for doing little Easter egg type things on certain games. So it's something that I'm
Right.
gonna try to check out and see. Which another reason why another aspect as to why I decided to start a file. I was like, yeah, gives me an excuse to get some achievements. Why not? And try
There you
something new.
go.
So yeah, but I enjoyed it. I can see why the enjoyment is there 110%. Like if I could actually sit down for more than 30 minutes at a time when I'm trying to play it, I could definitely see myself sitting there 4 hours trying to grind through it. I definitely liked it.
It's a grind. It's
Yeah.
a project. It's not something you can just knock out real quick. It takes time.
Yeah. So getting to the chat here, just seeing who is all here, doing some shout outs here early on. We got Paper Chunk. We got, of course, the Mad Belmont. Yes, Frank
Oh,
G. Jerry. It looks like you guys know who Jerry is. I do not.
oh, Jerry. Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, yeah. He's one of mine and Belmont's friends.
Okay. Well, shout out to Jerry. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us this evening. Um, okay. So I know we're early yet, so people will file in it as we go.
Yeah.
So, okay, chat. I want you guys to give me something that you want to rank. Now, remember, you guys can see. I'll go back so that way you guys can see the tier list here. So you guys can see all the games right there. You guys tell me what you guys would want in what tier. I guess Dark Cloud, since he picked Dark Cloud, we'll say that. Dark Cloud, if you've played it, where would you guys put this in your ranking system? And while you guys are posting that up in the chat, I'm going to do my first pick. And it's not going to be the flashiest one, but I am going to go with Fight Night Round 2, and I'm going to put it in the D category. Not saying it's a bad game, but I'm putting it
Right.
there because out of the ones that I picked, I was probably towards the bottom. But my thing is I know a lot of people, number one, a lot of people crap on EA. I get it, okay? But keep in mind, this was, God, I don't even remember how long ago this game came out. It had to have been somewhere between 2005, 2006, something like that.
Yeah.
But this one blew my mind because I originally played the first Fight Night, and I thought it was pretty cool because I personally like boxing, and I've always liked boxing video games. And the first
Right.
Fight Night, I felt like it kind of upped the ante on how they were doing boxing games. So I was like, hell yeah. And then when I played 2, I was like, I was like, oh man, this game is so freaking great. Like, I can't even tell you how many hours I put into Fight Night Round 2. And I never even got to play it online, sadly. I just only got to play it just
Oh,
couch co op with some of my buddies and stuff like that. But, of course, there was a lot of banter. Some maybe
right.
you could be saying it's questionably friendly banter at times. Like any fighting game, the heat gets turned
Right.
up relatively high at times. But yeah, this was one that I felt was worth at least discussing because even though it's a sports game technically, and like I said, a boxing game, it definitely was very good in my opinion for the times. And I'm not sure if this is one that you had played yourself, but it definitely, if you haven't, I would suggest giving it a shot if you're into any sort of boxing games.
Yeah, so I like boxing games. I've never played that one, but I kind of want to bring draw back to what you said about how EA gets crapped on now.
Yeah,
EA back then
yeah,
was a completely different company.
right,
EA back then was bringing nothing but bangers. I mean, you had the James Bond games, yeah, like they were a household name. Now, yeah, they're like a get out of my house kind of thing, but
yeah,
no, so I'm not surprised that that's on even on the list because I've heard great things about the old school like fight night games.
yeah. Those are it was really good. The third one, yeah, I don't know. For me, the third one, it got kind of weird, and I don't know if it was just it was one of those things where they tried to do too much, and it just kind of took away
Okay.
from the game. I don't know. At least that's how I felt. But
Right.
I would say out of the three, I would say that because I can't remember if there was a fight night round 4 or not. But I know I played just the first three. But out of the three, I would say two was the best. Then it would be the first one, and then I would say three.
Gotcha.
Irony is that's kind of similar to how I feel about Streets of Rage. It'd go 2, 1, 3. All right, so you guys didn't say anything in the chat. You didn't tell me where you wanted to put Dark Cloud. I see Frank's just saying Tony Hawk's Underground, and then Mad Belmont said Fight Night's so good, missed those games, and just noticed a startling lack of Castlevania. I'm disappointed. Now, just remember, this is only 20 games. This isn't our top 20, Belmont. So just keep that in mind. There are going to be other streams such as this in the future, so we can get to some Castlevania games, and I can have you on, and we can discuss those things. How convenient.
You got Ken saying Dark Cloud is A, and then you got Caesar saying Dark Cloud is F.
Okay, well, I guess the average would be like a C then, right? Like, or yeah, something
No,
like.
no, if it goes to C, I leave. I quit. It is A tier. Nowhere else.
Okay, so the lowest we can go, Caesar, is D. Okay, so if we go A and D, I guess. Well, the average would be like a C plus B minus, so it'd have to go one of those two places. Yes, Kingdom Hearts is on here as well.
Yep.
Welcome. I hope I'm
Yep.
pronouncing this right. Showed, or is it Shody?
It showed. What's up, showed?
Okay. Um, don't listen to Caesar. He calls Mega
Calls the
Drive.
Mega Drive
Hold
Genesis.
on. No, I call it Genesis. Okay. I will fight. It's the Genesis, damn it. All right. So Dark Cloud. We'll let Rad be a third party unless somebody else wants to vote. So as of right now, I'm going to put it in the B tier.
Oh, that hurts.
So
That hurts.
um so let's see here. So now that we got that one, okay, so chat, where would you guys put Fight Night Round 2? And while you guys are posting up there, I'm going to get back with Rad and ask him, what do you want to rank next? And where do you want me to put it?
Okay. So quick question before I do this. Is it two of ours each, or is it two games in total can be in one?
Two of each. Like two of ours. Like, so I can do two of mine, you can do two of yours. Like if you wanted two A's, you can do two
Gotcha.
A's and vice versa.
Okay. Um, ooh, that's tough. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Kingdom Hearts, and I'm gonna put that in B tier.
I feel like that's a fair spot though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like with Kingdom Hearts, I'm a sucker for the original. I mean, that's like my childhood. I love the original. That was when the story made most sense to me because they didn't have like this whole like convoluted timeline. But I talk with Belmont about this all the time. The later games improve the combat. So it's
Yeah.
it's kinda like back with Dark Cloud how, 2 improved things. The later games improve things, it's just I love what was simple to me then it was, you're just this dude going to all these Disney Worlds, RPG game,
Yeah.
killing monsters and things like that, like, it was cool. And then later on, it gets, like, this whole convoluted thing, but, yeah, I love Kingdom Hearts, like, I can think back to, like, where I was at when it came out and it was like the commercial was on and like I remember I think I threw a box of Cheerios at my mom and was like to buy this game like it was yeah it's such a like piece of my heart like I have a whole shrine you've seen it but like I'll have to post it sometime but yeah like I whole shrine.
So Kingdom Hearts for me was one that I didn't get a chance to play all the way through yet. I want to say I'm probably about halfway through. It's been a while since I played it because I started up a file probably around this time last year, and I played off and on until about the springtime, and I've been kind of bouncing around between games, but I don't know for sure, but I just feel like the amount of time I've put into it, I think I'm probably at least got to be halfway into it. But
Right.
just the gameplay, just from what I've got, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the most amazing thing in the world, but it does not suck by any means. I think it's a very, very well put together game. And I was actually surprised at how much it was actually keeping my attention because I was like, at first I was kind of hesitant because I was one of those people. I'm like, oh no, it's a Disney game, but
Right.
I'm like, but there had been good Disney games
There
during
have
the
yeah I was about to say
16-bit
there's
era and
been
stuff.
good
So I'm
Disney
like,
games
okay. I
yeah
was like, I'll give it a shot. I won't be that guy and
yeah
just go, oh, it's a kid's game. It's gonna
oh
suck.
get off my
Yeah,
lawn.
exactly. So I was like, I'll give it a shot. But I liked what they did, and they did a lot more with the actions and stuff than what I honestly expected, and how they presented
Right
the world and stuff. I was like, wow, they actually put a lot of thought into this game, and it was
yes
well put together. So I definitely cannot knock on it, and I would totally suggest it as well to anybody that if they haven't played it, yes, I would certainly tell them that they should check it out as well.
even if it's just the first one I know everything after that gets crazy just check out the first one.
Yeah.
First one's simple and fun.
Okay, so getting back to the chat here. Okay. So Caesar was giving me crap about putting Fight Night in D tier. Now, to keep in mind, the only reason why they're like, don't think of it as D being like it's terrible. Okay, I just want to reiterate this because I don't think that Caesar was here at the beginning. So these are all games that we thoroughly enjoy. We're just ranking them
Right
amongst themselves as how we feel we would be putting them if they were stacked against each other, basically. Okay,
right
none of them were going, yeah, this game sucks. That wasn't the purpose. We just wanted to have here's a collective of games that we enjoy. How would we rank them amongst themselves? And then that was it.
right
Okay, so Castlevania Lament of Innocence is A tier, which that's another one. Started a file. I'm probably a few hours into it. I streamed it a couple times. But from where I've gotten, I was absolutely loving that game, and I liked how the layout was. I liked how the mechanics were on it, and it's definitely now. I'm not going to sit here and act like I've played every single Castlevania because I have not, but
right
it is definitely one that for excuse me, one of the in one of the games in the series, it definitely is one that I would say is towards not I wouldn't say the top for me because I do really enjoy the 8-bit ones as much as simplistic as they are. I do really enjoy those NES ones. Well, I should say the first one and the third one are probably my go-tos for the NES. I know Belmont's gonna like want to just punch me in the nuts for that, but because I believe he likes Simon's Quest. Isn't
he
it? Isn't it
does
like he loves Simon's Quest, right?
yeah
But
he likes that was we did a appreciation video for it the other day
yeah,
he's a
so
big
he's
fan of it.
probably wanting to just like whack me over the head with a bat right now. But I still like it. It's just, if I had to choose out of those three, I'd probably say Dracula's Curse, the original one, and then Simon's Quest. That's just for me though.
Okay.
But this one, yeah, but Lament of Innocence is from where I've gotten, anyways. I can see the definite intrigue with it. It's again well put together from where I've gotten, anyways. So, trying to go back up, see where people thought Fight Night should go because I don't see anything yet. Well, since
Someone
Caesar,
vote on Roy's Fight Night.
I know. Well, Caesar apparently doesn't want it in D, so for right now, it's going to sit in C until you guys say otherwise. So we'll put it there. All right. So where do you guys want Kingdom Hearts? So I'm going through just to see if you guys did say anything about that. So Belmont says A.
Ken said S.
Ken said S.
Caesar says C. And I think that's everybody.
All right. So that's looking like it would probably settle in A tier then. Because
I'm good with that.
yeah, because it'd say S, A, and then a C. So yeah, I would say that averages out to probably an A. Uh, well, okay. So then Paper Chunk said C, but B is acceptable for Kingdom Hearts. So we'll say he said B. So yeah, we'll still say I'd be about it. We'll say A. Okay. There it goes. F. Gosh, thanks,
Guys, you
Caesar.
can't. F's not an option.
Okay. So, I am gonna go with, let's see here. Since I don't know how long Frank's gonna be here, so I'm gonna go with Tony Hawk's Underground, and I am, oh man, I'm just like I'm going in my head about stuff right now because I'm going like, I'll be honest, for me, I'm going between S and A, and I'm like, I'm gonna go
Ooh,
S.
wow.
And I'll say
Wow.
this is why. Okay, so for those that don't know, even though I'm an old man now, I did skateboard for 17 years and I absolutely
Wow.
love it. It was a huge part of my life. And Frank is close to my age, and the Tony Hawk games was like an automatic staple to anybody who skateboarded. So when Underground came out, they did a lot of things with it that drew you in just as a skateboarder, because you got to see things like the career mode was you got to start as a slummy nobody kid like how we all were back in the day, and then you work your
Yep.
way up and stuff like that, and get the sponsors and stuff like that, and then eventually go pro and stuff like that. And I believe this was the first one too that you were allowed to jump off of your skateboard and walk around and stuff, which we all felt, well, when I say we all, I mean me and my friends, we were just, you know, like it was kind of like not mind blown, but we were kind of like, thank God they gave an option,
Right.
because there are, things that you can do then when you're walking around and then like throwing your board down, doing certain stuff. Like, people do that stuff. It's not just you're riding around doing stuff all the time, but being able to walk around to get to certain areas and stuff like that and do certain things we thought was pretty cool as well. So when you thought pretty much the innovation was dead, this one just it
Right.
kicked the door back down like, oh, just when you thought we were done, no, we got more. Now
Right.
granted, it started to steadily go down after Underground 2 came out, and but with Tony Hawk's Underground, I felt like it definitely breathed a whole hell of a lot of life back into the franchise, and I probably spent more hours playing this game than any other Tony Hawk game, I think. Because I would say the first two I put a boatload of time in, but when this came out,
Mhm.
I think this one was one for sure that I played the absolute most out of.
So I think it's a good Tony Hawk game. Don't get me wrong. Personally, I was more of a fan of the Pro Skater series. I know it's all basically kind of the same thing, but like Pro Skater 4 is like my favorite. But no, Tony Hawk Underground, yeah, it was a phenomenal game. I remember you can get off your skateboard and jump in like the decked out like race car they have just in the neighborhood
Yeah,
and like drive around. Yeah, no, I love that game. It was a good game, but yeah, 4 is just I love Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4.
I definitely will agree that for nostalgia reasons, 1 and 2 are like they're just up there for me because that was when I was just getting into skateboarding. So I was probably only like a year in when Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 came out. So that just like my mind was blown that we actually got a skateboarding game like that because prior to there wasn't really very good skateboarding games up to that point.
Right.
So that one was just, it was just, I mean, again, for the times, it was like everything you could have asked for and then some, you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
was just, it
Yeah.
was so good. Okay, so going back, getting back to the chat here. Um,
Nice, Belmont. Nice.
so I'm just trying to make sure I'm. Yeah, that I don't know if Caesar's happy with that one or not. He said Bam Margera is greater than Tony Hawk, but he said,
Yeah, but
"Wow, Tony Hawk Underground top tier." Yeah, for me, that's just a me thing. Now just keep that in mind. I'm not gonna sit here and say like if I were to put it on the grand scheme of things of like every single game, obviously it would probably not be there. But out of the games I picked,
right.
I would say it's probably S tier for sure. Um, Ken says
Ken says,
A.
yeah, Ken, we got to work on your typing. I hate some of the stuff, but the game was so good. Okay.
Yeah. Um,
First get Ascendant Primus, background score. Thug
A.
is A for sure.
Okay, so I guess we could agree. Did Frank? Did you? No, you didn't throw a ranking in there. Frank, where would you put
Thrasher.
Tony Hawk's Underground? Thrasher. Oh man, dude, that was
Dude,
rough.
I played the MTV skateboarding the other day. Let me tell
Oh
you, that is an awful skateboarding game. Like,
gosh.
that game is bad, dude.
Yeah, it was not good. No,
No,
no, that was
that was
definitely
not
not good at
good.
all. Uh,
It was
o-
bad.
okay, so I guess for them, I guess it sounds like for right now it's going to go A until I hear from Frank, and then we might go
He
up or
said S.
down. Did he say S?
He just put S.
So he says S, and so we got a bunch of A's and then an S. So I guess it would still average out to A, I guess, still,
S.
anyways.
Oh, see, I was gonna say it'd still be S because you said S. He said, or are we not doing
Well,
you for
no,
this one?
no, I just, just because for the sake of the SRF guys were bantering about, so I just figured
Gotcha.
let you be a tiebreaker there.
Gotcha.
So,
Understood.
yeah, so we'll leave it at A. So this is what the chat's got right now currently. We'll say Fight Nights at C, Dark Cloud B, Kingdom Hearts A, and
Ugh.
Tony Hawk's Underground at A. Okay, so next up, what do you have, Mr. Rad?
Okay. Okay. Shadow of the Colossus S tier. That is easy.
Now this one I have not played yet.
Oh, bro, what?
Yeah, I have it. Like
Oh,
I literally have the
dude.
physical copy because I seen what it looks like, and I was like, oh yeah, this is one I definitely would want to play, but I've never gotten around to play it yet.
It's so good, dude. It's so the whole premise is you're going in to like save this girl and beware it's been a minute since I played it, but you're trying to revive her, but the only way to do that is to collect the souls of the titans. And so
Okay.
like you're like fighting and each one's unique. Like you got one that flies, you got one that's in the water, you got one that like is like they're like giant animals, but you have to like climb them.
Okay.
And so you're like scouring them and like, yeah, dude, it's intense. It is a phenomenal game. They remade it for the PS4. It's on the PS3 with Ico. Like oh, dude, you got to play it. Oh my God. I can't believe you haven't played it.
I know. Now, just keep in mind now, for context here, the PS2, sadly, I had to go back to play a lot of games because while it was relevant, there was only so many games that I actually got to play because I personally didn't own a PS2. My buddy did, and that's how actually I played the crap out of Tony Hawk's Underground because I'd go over to his house and we'd sit there and play it for a couple hours before we would go skateboarding. So, um, but yeah, between that fight night amongst a few others, but I didn't like even like Resident Evil 4. I didn't play it on the PS2 till 2006. Same thing with God of War because that was when I personally
Okay.
bought a PS2. So I had to go back and start playing some games. But by the time I was finally starting to get a collection going for it, was when I decided to pull the trigger on the 360, which was about a year later. So I ended up sadly trading in everything to get the 360.
How she goes.
I know. I
How she
fell into the
goes.
trap and I totally regret it. but
It's how she goes.
but thankfully there's a thing that I know Caesar's going to cringe when I say this. There's a thing called emulation. So I'm able to go back. I know. He's like, I will kill you.
Caesar just had a mini stroke.
So that's how I'm able to go back. Like I've probably over the past handful of years, I've went back and started playing some games that I missed out on or wasn't able to finish and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of my PS2 experiences actually came within the past 5 years. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, but it does like you were saying though. I thought it looked like a great game, which is why I bought it. It was one of the games I was like, okay, I'm buying this because it totally looks like something that I'm gonna love it, so I'm gonna get it. While I think I only paid at the time, it was like $20 for the CIB or something like that. It was like
Nice.
So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this, before, how things go with that. So I was like, yeah, I'll get
Yeah.
it while it's $20, sure, and I'll get to it eventually. But has anybody in the chat played this game? And if so, please.
Oh, it's popping off. Everybody, most people agreed it was S tier.
Oh, S tier. All right.
Yep. Yep.
Just gonna go back here.
Hey, what's up, Farrell? Thanks for coming in, bro. Sorry, Farrell's my boy. I had to welcome him in.
Oh, welcome, Farrell. I did not see you there. I re-popped up the chat there. Okay, so I'm just going.
Yeah, so Ken
S,
said Shadow
S.
is legit S all the way, which this is why Ken and I are friends. And I think Belmont said S tier. I'm trying to
Yes.
read.
Yeah, Belmont said S as well. Do yourself a favor and play it. I will. Trust me.
You really
I
should.
will.
You really, even if you just play like the remastered or remake version on the PS4,
Yeah.
either way, dude, it's so good.
Gross. I heard that.
Yeah, there
I
he is.
knew
Oh, he's
it
having a
was
mini
coming.
stroke.
Yes. The E word, emulator. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna put for the chat there. So Shadows of the Colossus is going in S tier. Kaboom. Okay, so keep in mind, guys, as we're going, so you guys will be doing it the same way we are. So you guys can have no more than 4 games per tier. So just keep that in mind as you're ranking stuff, okay? So you guys see what we
I thought it
have.
was 2 per tier.
Well, it'd be 2 each, like two of your games, 2 of my games. So a total of 4.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
that'll make up the
Okay.
20, you know what I mean? So you got 4 in each
Gotcha.
tier. Yep.
Gotcha.
So yeah. But for the chat, they can, they got the full shebang. So
Gotcha. Just trying to understand the rules.
oh yeah. Just trying to make it a little more entertaining. Just like I said, that way we're not just having everything basically be on the middle or up,
Yeah, no, understandable.
Yeah. So okay. So that being said, so Belmont, by the way, I gotta let he said that I made up for the lack of Castlevania by putting Evil Dead Regeneration on there. So yes.
There we go.
Yeah. So with that, I'll go with that game. And let's see, with what I picked. Oh, man. Pardon me. You know what? I'm not going to go back on it now. I'll keep Tony Hawk's at S, because now that I was like thinking about it, I was like, shoot, I probably could have put that at A, but it's okay. It's okay. Because I was kind of looking at some of the other games going,
yeah, that's the tough part is like,
I know.
Yeah.
I will say, though, with the Evil Dead game, I will put this.
It'll pop up in a second, Farrell. We're moving back and forth between it.
Oh, yeah. So this one that you guys are looking at right now, this is our tier. And then when I open up the other tab, that's the chat's tier, just to see where you guys are ranking stuff in comparison to us. I'm going to go... Oh, gosh. As much as I would probably, in my mind, I want to say S, I know that's going to be a lie. Just with what I see's left. So I'm going to go A.
You're putting Evil Dead at A?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I'll explain later once we go through. But Evil Dead Regeneration, though, I absolutely love this game. And for those that do not know, I know that Rad and Belmont already know because we're all horror fanatics. We are whores for horror. And Evil Dead is
That's my next
like,
tattoo.
yes. Uh Evil Dead franchise, it's just that's S tier for me. Like I love it, especially, I just
Wow.
the practical effects with the Evil Dead stuff. Oh, it's just chef's kiss for me. I absolutely love it. And this game just it's so good. Like it's I guess you could say it's easy as far as how the mechanics are and what you got to do, but for me it was the just it's the whole thing of just playing as Ash. I mean, I love it. Just it doesn't matter if I'm just wielding the chainsaw around and hacking stuff and then blowing it up with the shotgun or the pistol or whatever.
Right.
But just the whole experience is just what drew me in. It's not, because I know I say this a lot, but I feel like we're at a spot where a lot of people tend to get more hung up on, well, how complex something is versus what are you getting out of it? You know what I mean? And that's where I
Right.
was at, like with the Evil Dead games when I played them. Like some people used to give me a bunch of crap for playing them, and I'm like, look, I mean, okay, if you want to compare it to certain stuff, okay, it might not be the flashiest thing, but it's what are you trying to get out of it, and what's your personal experience? And for me, very good, satisfied, and I get satisfaction from playing it. So good, and you know, kicking Sam into stuff just cracks my
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
I just love it. And then like the music they play whenever you go into his body and you have to run around and do stuff as Sam. It's just the little touches of things that they do to put that little extra comedic value in there that you would get out of Evil Dead. It's good and a well put together game in my opinion. And one, if you haven't checked out any of the Evil Dead games, minus the one that they released for the PS5 because that one
Oh,
blew
that's
balls, all hype, and it fell flat on its face. It was a terrible buy for me. I felt bad for spending the money on it. But the older ones, fantastic. I suggest checking them out.
yeah. I mean, I like it. I think it's a good game. Personally, would I put it is that high up? Not really. But no, I loved it. That was one of my favorite games. Yeah, it's a really good game.
All right, so
It's way better
chat,
than the
where
PS5
would you
game.
put where would you put Evil Dead at? Oh, I'm just trying to see. Just where do we got? Um, oh,
Belmont says A tier. Yo, is Shadow Colossus good on the PS2? I was about to download it to play tonight, but I heard the graphics are bad. Bird tweaking. I mean, the graphics aren't. That's the good thing is you can get it on the PS4 and the graphics are way enhanced. But if you just play the PS2 version, it's I don't think it's as bad. Like I think back then it was very graphically like appealing myself.
so welcome, Bird. By the way, see you there in the chat. Shadow of the Colossus good on PS2. Oh, that's what you were just talking about, yeah.
Yeah,
Don't mind Regeneration at A.
yeah. Belmont loves the game.
Oh, it's so good. It really is, though. I mean, I don't know. I know it's just I know it's the fanboy in me coming out. I can't help it because like I was introduced to the Evil Dead series very early on in my childhood, probably earlier than I should have because I think I was only 7 years old. But but I definitely fell in love with the whole presentation of it.
Right.
Well, I guess since Belmont says A and no one else is saying anything else, I guess that is where it's gonna lay.
Yeah, Ken said he can't speak on it. He's never played it, which is
Okay.
kind of what I assumed when you picked that one. I was like, most people probably haven't played that one.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. All right. So there we go. Okay. So back to our lovely tier list there, Rad. What do you want to do next and where do you want to put it?
Oh boy. Okay, so I still have an S tier slot open, right?
Correct. Yeah, we both have one on S and A.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to go Jack and Dexter. I'm gonna put Jack and Dexter on A.
Ooh, nice. That is really good though. I
Oh,
mean,
such a good game.
yeah, yeah, it's a very good
Yeah,
game.
and for those who don't know what that one is, the first Jack and Daxter was kind of just a simple like collectathon platformer. Now as the later games go on, they kind of adapted to like a Grand Theft Auto type, like future guns and cars and stuff, which were good. Don't get me wrong, but that first one just had so much charm. Jack didn't talk. Daxter did all the talking for him, and the
Yeah,
characters like like I love the music in the game. I love the gameplay. It was a good collectathon, and I'm not a
yeah.
big collectathon fan. But again, the other games are good. I just that first one was that came with my PS2, and like blown away. Love that game. I still like. I want to stream that game sometime. That's how much I love it.
Oh, it's very good. And I'm a huge platformer type guy, and
Mhm.
I'm kind of similar to you. Like, I don't mind collecting stuff, but when I feel like it's just like how I guess the biggest comparison to the worst collectathon game is DK Country 64,
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't like that. That's too much. Like, I mean, I don't mind finding stuff, but it feels like when all I'm doing is collecting stuff versus actually traversing through a world, now
Yeah.
you're burning me out, you know. And
Yep.
but I did like the visuals that Jack and Daxter presented as well. I really liked. I just liked the color palettes they used and just the way things were
Yes.
shaped and stuff. I loved it,
Yep.
man. It was very well put together.
Great game.
But I agree. I would say, yeah, totally A tier. I think if that was on my list, I probably would have put it there as well. So where does the chat want Jack and Daxter? Okay. DK64 is, yeah, it was Ken, crazy.
Belmont says A tier for Jack and Daxter. Ken hasn't played Jackson Daxter. Farrell says Breath of the Wild's 900 Croc Seeds was another insane collectathon. I feel like we weren't we just talking about Breath of the Wild?
I started Breath of the Wild. Funny story before we continue on is like, now mind you, my wife's not a huge gamer, right? So she'll play some games, but she's not like I anybody that's either in the chat or you or myself. So there's some girl that she follows on, YouTube for fitness and stuff that she's followed for like over 10 years and stuff. And
Oh wow.
so she's seen that she's bought Breath of the Wild when it was out for maybe at this point like a year. And my wife, this was how I got a Nintendo Switch, is my wife wanted it for that game. And I said, babe, I don't think that's your type of game. And she goes, how are you going to tell me if that's my type of game? I was like, she's like, well,
All
she
right.
she plays it, and I was like, well, clearly she also plays games all the time, so she clearly knows what she wants to play. And I'm telling you right now that it's not going to be your type of game. So fast forward, I got the Switch, got her Breath of the Wild. She got about 10 minutes in and gave up.
That's
Yeah,
me.
yeah. And I was like, I tried telling you, you just, you didn't want to listen, but it's okay. But yeah, I probably only that was another one. I think I'm only about 5 or 6 hours into that one, something like
Yeah, I
that.
was like 2 hours in. I gave up. I got bored. Not my
Um,
type of Zelda.
so
Yeah, no. It's just Belmont's the only one who said it. He said A. Anybody else? Where
yeah, I
would you
guess
guys rank
anybody
Jack and
else?
Daxter?
Yeah, before we move on, just to show you
370
guys,
hours. Holy wow.
this is what you guys have currently, but you can put it. So if it goes into A, nothing else can go into the A tier. Just keep that in mind. But so um 370 hours, dear God. I could
Yeah,
never
right?
I could never put that, well, I shouldn't say I could never put that much time into a game, because when Guitar Hero was a thing, holy crap. I think
Oh, I'm sure I've poured that into like Dark Cloud over the many years. So
yeah,
I can't even like say anything. I'm sure that would be like mine.
yeah. All right, well, I guess it stays in A.
Perfect. That's where it belongs.
All right. So, I guess we're going to go with mine, and I'm going to go Looking at either Gauntlet or you know what? No, I'm gonna go with the one that I know for sure, 100%. I'm going to be putting in S tier, and that's gonna be God of War.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I love me some God of War, man. Absolutely love it. That is one of the uh, that's one of the few games that similar to like Streets of Rage series. I can play it a million times over and I don't get
Gotcha.
bored with it. I love the presentation. I love the mechanics. I like the flow of everything. I mean, it keeps me in there the whole time, and I don't um, find my brain just wandering off like how I do with certain games. Like there's some games I can't think any off the top of my head, but there's been games in the past where I'm sure we've all been there where you are playing a game and you find yourself kind of like your brain's just kind of not focused in on it and you're just kind of
Yeah.
yeah, and I do not find myself doing that when I'm playing the God of War, the original God of War game. But I absolutely loved it, and that was one that I used to say years ago that if they could make a movie about a video game, I would love to see an actual movie or
Oh,
something about
hands down,
God of
yeah.
War. I love the story arc behind it. So good and well put together for a video game.
Yeah. No, so this might shock you, it might not, I don't know. I've never played the, original God of Wars.
Oh, dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
man, I'll say you're
I may
missing out.
soon though. There's a leak that was confirmed, not confirmed. It's like been backed. They're remaking or remastering all the Greek God of Wars to these ones for the modern system. So I may get to check it out
Oh,
sometime soon. I own
nice.
them on like the PS3, so I should play them. I've played a bit of God of War 3.
Yeah.
I did the first intro part and was like, wow, this is like super cool, and then never touched it again. So yeah, I need to I need to play them.
Yeah, I'll say like, man, like with God of War, I know Belmont was in the chat. I believe maybe yourself was there when I was playing it live one time, and
Mm.
I was talking about how like I get frustrated when people just are like, "It's just a hack and slash. Like there's nothing really cool about it." It's like, oh my
Those are
gosh.
some of the
I mean,
best games, hack and slash games.
because it's like it's just and it's like the way a lot of people look at it is like they just crap on it. Like it's nothing cool or there's nothing great about it. I'm just like it's the whole presentation. There was a lot of things that they did and that it was presented in such a good way and the combos that you could do with like that's the thing like when you're if you're one to just talk about it playing it on easy or normal, okay, you
Right,
can just get through it by just mashing buttons together, but if you try playing it on the harder difficulties, you do have to learn the timing. You do have to learn how to block and parry and stuff like that. It's not just smashing the buttons down and just hoping for the best. You really do have to learn how to, do things the proper way and try your best not to get hit because you take so much damage.
right.
But yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. And I guess it's hack and slashes for me kind of fall in the similar category of beat 'em ups because I know I get passionate about beat 'em ups too, like good ones anyways when
No,
people
what?
crap on them. I know, right?
Right.
But yeah, when people dump on those like it's not, it's just a beat 'em up. It's like ah, gosh, why do you gotta hate everything?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I gotta love people.
Yeah, I know. Just we're all miserable. Why is that? Okay, so where do you guys think that God of War should go? I know I seen Belmont say S, I believe, or is that
Yep, Ken
Ken?
said S
Ken
as
said
well.
S as well. Okay,
Or actually, I don't think Belmont said anything.
maybe it was just Ken, and I thought, oh yeah, he
It was
said it. Yep,
Ken.
yep. Said hard agree. The
Mhm.
original God of War is S tier. So that was right
Oh,
after
bash
Ken.
my heart. I'm sorry, Ken. I'm sorry. It's on my list. I will play it. The old God of War games had those scenes. Belmont knows what I'm talking about. Uh, X-Men beat 'em up is S tier. Farrell, that's not what we're talking about.
No, no, oh, not the arcade one with Colossus where he's just going rob rob.
See, that why did that not get on, like, why has that been hasn't been ported to consoles? Like, we got the Punisher now with the Capcom beat 'em up, but we didn't get that one. That one just that 'cause that's an amazing arcade game. Great beat 'em up game.
My favorite, well, and now granted, I haven't played many. X-Men games, to be fair. But just out of the 16-bit era, I absolutely loved Mutant Apocalypse. That game was so freaking good.
Oh,
I loved
good
it.
game.
Yeah, it
Good
was so
game.
good. All
It was on the
right.
PS3. Yeah, no, I know it was on the PS3 for I was talking about why isn't it past that?
All right. So now, going back to ours, what would you like to throw up next?
Right. Well, we're not throwing up gang signs, but
No, not yet. Anyways, save that for later.
West Coast. Let's see. I got Suffering left, Resident Evil 4, Punisher, or was Punisher yours? Punisher was mine.
Punisher was yours. Yep.
Okay, I thought so.
I'd
I was about
say
to
the
say, wow,
first
we only
four,
covered a
the first
couple.
5 are actually yours for sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. This is now we're getting tough. Uh I would have to put Dark Watch at. Nope, I'm not gonna do that yet. Hold on, we're gonna wait on that one 'cause that's the game. I'm gonna put Vice City at B.
Vice City at B.
Yes, I want to put it higher, but I have other games. So Vice City is my Grand Theft Auto game. I wasn't a San Andreas person. Like that was good, don't get me wrong, but Vice City, I love like the 80s. Like the 80s are like the music, everything was just so great. And hanging out with all you old folks, I'm
That's
sure you
right.
all agree. The 80s were awesome,
Yes.
dude. And so like being able to like playing as Tommy, like driving around and like you got the open shirt and like the music. Oh, dude, it's just and the neon light. I love neon. Neon is like, oh my god. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it's such a great game. It's in my opinion one of the best Grand Theft Autos. I know other games improved later and did other things, but yeah, that Vice City just oof, so beautiful. Love it.
If there would be a Grand Theft Auto that I would play, it would probably be Vice City. And the reason I say that, for those that don't know, I I detest GTA, and the reason
Wow.
is I grew up around it, right? And it was like everybody was playing it. Like after 3 came out, I you couldn't get away from it. And
Oh
it
yeah.
was just like it was one of those things I just got like so burned out on. I was like, I don't even want to touch a Grand Theft Auto game for as long as I live. Just because it was like I just couldn't get away from it. So that's why I just, for like my one buddy, I mean, he played the crap out of Vice City, and I mean, I did play it for a little bit, like, but not much. But out of all of them, I would say probably Vice City for the same reasons. I love 80s pop culture,
Oh,
movies, TV
it's yep.
shows. I mean, everything about it. Just I love it. That in the 90s is just so good. Like even though I was a teenager in the 2000s, I still preferred stuff from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I totally agree as far as just like there's a lot of great things that came from those decades. But yeah. Oh, Ken agrees. The same here, Roy. GTA is Garbo. Only 3 and Vice are
So
good.
he actually said something. He said Scarface is better, and I agree with that. It's better than Vice City, and so it almost got on my list. I was almost gonna pick this over GTA, but when I was thinking about it, I was like, man, I love like the Vice City, like I don't know, there's just something about it. But no, I hands down agree. Scarface is better. The Scarface game, that's a whole nother thing. If you haven't played that, go play that. That game is amazing.
I have not played it. I honestly didn't even know it existed.
Oh, dude, it's so good. It's really, really good. It's like what it like. Have you seen Scarface?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Okay, so it tweaks the ending. What if Tony lived?
yeah. Okay. Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
It's awesome. It's a really good game. It's really,
Yeah.
really good. The guy they got to play Tony almost sounds like Al Pacino. Like
Now,
it's perfect.
it's fun. I'm only bringing this up because I know we got fellow old men in the chat here, and they'll agree with me. So Brad and I had a brief conversation like a while back, and anybody who is my age is gonna laugh at this if you were to be asked this, and you'll know why, Rad, when I say. So he asked me if I had ever watched the movie The Terminator before. So I told him, I said, so I was like, asking anybody in my age range that question. I mean, if they actually said no, that would be like blasphemy. I mean, there is nobody I think between the ages of 30 plus that have not watched the original two Terminator movies. I mean, I would like to think at the very least. If there hasn't been, I would say very, very few and far in between. But when I brought up because when you said Scarface, it's like on the same tier. I would say it's like I would say people of my age range, if you said Bloodsport, you say Scarface, you say Terminator, um, the Alien movies. I'm just trying to think. There's just certain stuff that off the top of my head, like there's like these movies that I feel everybody in that kind of age bracket all watch those certain types of movies.
Right.
So just kind of giving you a cheat sheet, so that way for in the future, you'd be like just look at a
Gotcha.
movie and go, okay, it's they probably they know it.
They've seen it. You
Yeah,
never
oh
know.
yeah,
Some people
well
they'll be
it's
like, "Oh,
true.
I don't watch those crime movies." So
Oh
you gotta
yeah,
ask.
yeah. I would
You never
say
know.
even though like I'm not really big on stuff like the irony is like a lot of that stuff I'm really not into so much to today's standards, but like stuff if it's from the 80s or 90s, chances are me personally, I would say I've probably watched it. I think
Oh, okay.
you've never seen Bloodsport before, Farrell? Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay.
Found him.
I
There's
found
that
him
guy.
because I was like, man, like I felt like I couldn't like certain stuff like yeah, the Jean Claude Van Damme movies back in the day. That was like I felt like everybody that I was around like loved that guy. And
Oh yeah,
especially
you couldn't get away from
Bloodsport, it
him.
was like you couldn't. Yeah, it was like that was like the movie. That was like Mortal Kombat before Mortal Kombat came out. Was Bloodsport. Um. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, going back. So Vice City, they said B tier, correct?
Yeah. So Ken said B. Um, no, it was totally B. Yeah, no, he did say B. He said B. Belmont said I'm not mad. Vice City is B tier, so B B. Yeah, it's all B's.
Okay, cool. All right, so that is B. Now going back to ours. All right, I'm gonna go Gauntlet Dark Legacy, and I'm gonna put that. Yeah, I'm probably gonna say out of the ones that are left, I'm gonna say D. And for
Oh,
me, the
okay.
main reason is not that I felt it was a bad game at all. I loved the game. I just thought it was too short. I felt like it was almost like I don't know if you've played it or not, Rad, but I felt
Not
like it
this
was
one. No.
one that it's almost like as soon as you're starting to really get in the trenches of it and you're really like you get to that flow where you're just like sucked in and you just want to keep going. It's like right when you get
Oh,
into that feel, it's almost like the game's done. And you're going, well, what the hell just happened? Like that's it. And then it's like, like that was kind of like the rug got pulled out from under my feet, so to speak, on that one. But the gameplay I felt was pretty good. I didn't see
okay.
anything. I thought it was a good game. Otherwise, just short.
Is it? Is it similar to Legends?
Similar to Legends, and it's shorter. It's way shorter than that, though. Like, I mean, it takes a while to get through Gauntlet Legends, but I felt
Right.
Dark Legacy. I mean, you could get through it. God, I'd feel like you could get through it if you really wanted to in just like a couple days.
Okay, because the only reason I ask is Gauntlet Legends on the N64 is one of my favorite games.
Yeah. Oh, it's
So
really good
that's why I
too.
asked. So I'll have to check this one out because I'm a big Gauntlet fan. I grew up playing, the it was like 4 on the Sega Genesis. I want to say, not the Sega Mega Drive. So I
Kicking
really
the
enjoy
hornet's
the
nest.
the. Yep, I'm starting beef. But yeah, no, I love the Gauntlet series. So no, I own this. So I'll have to. That may be what I check out tonight. I got some free time, so I might check it out. Especially if it's short. I love short.
Yeah.
I know that may bother some people, but I ain't got a lot of time anymore, so I'll
Well,
take
no,
short.
I get that. It was one of those ones. Like I said, it's just like it just felt like when you're getting into everything, you're like, all right, cool. Like you thought, like it felt like there was going to be more, and then it was like it just like it wasn't, and then that's why I was kind of like, what the hell? Like, but I was like, okay, whatever. I guess I won. It was like a disappointed victory. But yeah.
That's fair.
All right. So chat, where would you put Gauntlet Dark Legacy?
Yeah, that one may stay in D because Belmont says he hasn't played it. Ken says he's only played the same one I've played.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that one's give everybody else a minute, but I think that one's gonna stay at D.
All right, I'll put that at D for now. So there we
Yeah,
go.
a few of yours are more obscure picks on that front. I might get that with a few of mine as well, though. We did pick some obscure ones, so I think that's why we're putting them here towards the end.
Oh yeah,
we
yeah,
we
yeah.
we offed our favorite ones already.
Yeah. There. Well, I'll say. I got so one that's on here. You know, spoiler alert. We talked about this on our SRF channel, but Battlefront 2. I love that game so
Great
much.
game,
I do.
great
Um.
game. I agree.
Yeah, that'll be up there. So so got that. So now we are on to what is your pick?
Okay, so let's see. I have an S tier open left. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Okay, I got an S. I got an A. I'm
I,
gonna take the Suffering. No, hold on. I'm not gonna take the Suffering. I'm gonna take the Punisher. I'm gonna put the Punisher at A tier.
A tier.
Yep.
And this is one I have not played either.
Oh, dude. Okay, so the Punisher. This game is crazy. So obviously, so it's movie tie-in, kind of, sort of, maybe not really. Um, it. Did you watch the movie from the early 2000s
Oh
with
yeah.
Thomas Jane? Okay,
Yes.
great movie. Yeah. So you're basically going through certain parts and taking on the mob and things like that. But like you interrogate people, and so like you'll take a dude's head and put it in like a buzz saw, or
Mm.
you'll like hold him over a broken window. And the gunplay, like you got two revolvers in hand. You can dual wield LMGs. Like it's crazy, dude. You're dueling like shotguns. You're blowing limbs off of people. Dude, this game is brutal. It is such a fun time. It's one of my favorite Marvel games. Dude. It's really good, and it swear to God, it's underrated as hell. Nobody has ever played it. Like it's like no, everybody's like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, and it's more expensive. It's
Is it?
getting up there in price because it's really good and it was really slept on.
Yeah.
Thomas Jane Punisher is tier.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Oh yeah. That was really really good.
That was a great movie. The perfect Punisher. Like everything after, even the show, has not been as good as that movie. I think he was the perfect Punisher. I think that movie was done perfectly. Like it just, oh, chef's kiss.
Yeah. And fun fact for those that may not know, I don't know. I found this out maybe about a year ago on a podcast, but the scene where Kevin Nash gets stabbed with the knife. That
Yep.
was legit. He got stabbed with the
Yep.
friggin' knife, and he just took it. I'm like,
He took it.
dude, you got stabbed with a knife. Like,
Yep.
I mean, he came in
Yep.
hot with it, and you just were like, ugh! Like, what? It's crazy.
And Thomas Jane's reaction is real. Like
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh crap!" Like he actually stabbed him,
yeah,
and like he did it professionally. He shook it off, got
mm,
back into the fight. Like that
y-
scene is so perfect because of
yeah,
that. Because
yeah.
he just kept going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was so
it's
crazy. Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, no way. I was like, well, I bet that person that was supposed to put the gimmick knife out got fired and banned from
yep,
ever
right
working on
after.
a movie.
Yep, they goofed. Yep.
Oh gosh. All right, so where would you guys in the chat like to see Punisher go? In what tier?
So far, no one's played it, but I will say, if you like the Thomas Jane, he voices the Punisher in that game as well,
Oh, does he? That's
which is
cool.
cool. He voices him.
I did
One of the
just
two games I know
start
he was in.
I did just start playing Spider-Man 3, and because I'm a Spider-Man fan. I love Spider-Man.
Oh, same. Yeah, are
Um,
you talking about the movie tie-in game?
yeah, yeah, yep. I
Okay,
just
what version are you playing?
on PS2.
Uh, yeah, that's the weaker of the versions. It was still fun though. That's what I grew up playing, but then I played the 360 version later. It's
Oh,
so much
okay.
better. Yeah, but
All
it's
right.
still a good game. 2 is my favorite of those.
So you said you put it Punisher was at you said A, right?
Yeah, I think no, I said B. I
You
don't have
did?
any
Okay.
A's left.
Okay, you didn't have any. Okay. Oh, you did have A. Yep, that was yours. Okay.
Did I say A?
Yep. Yeah, you had yep, that was your last A slot.
Okay,
And
so yeah, then yeah, that's my A.
so then they're just gonna it's gonna default to B since no one else had anything for it, I guess. Or I mean, you guys, if you want to, if you feel like there's some other stuff you would want, obviously you can just tell me
Nope.
where to put it.
Punisher
But
said A. Belmont said A for Punisher.
Belmont said A. Okay.
Yep. Punisher for me, I'd say it's A tier. I rented that game like crazy. Nice, good. See, that's it. That's funny, Belmont. That's how I played it. Was renting it. That's
Okay,
funny.
well, he said A, but you guys don't have any A slots, so it's either got to go to B or S.
Oh no, that oh yeah, that would be B, but I can't vote on that one. So Belmont, what do you think? B? He's gonna say B. I don't think it's S tier worthy. Now we wait.
and now, and now we wait. What is
Go for B. Yep, I thought he would.
it? Okay. All right, so B it is. All right. Okay. So going back. Okay, so that was Punisher. Now, whoo-wee. So the plot thickens for me. Oh, hold on a second. I just realized. No, you got to put Punisher somewhere else. Because Jack and
Do I?
Daxter's, yep, because Jack and Daxter's yours, and so was Dark Cloud. The only one I had in A was Evil Dead.
All right, throw me B then.
B, okay.
Yeah, I think it's B worthy. I don't think it's S tier.
Okay. Um, so, oh man, this is tough. Hmm. Damn. I'm really struggling right now because as much as I love Battlefront, I'm like, can I really put it in A? Or am I going to put it in B? I'm like, dang it.
It is the best Battlefront in my opinion.
It's so good. And
So good.
the leap from the first one to that one was just
Oh, it's
like, yo,
crazy.
it was nuts, man. It really
Dude,
was.
you're doing space battles and stuff.
Oh
Yeah, dude,
yeah.
that jump they took was perfect.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Shoot. Well, I guess for now, I'll take the bouncer and put that in C tier. And the only reason why is just because with what I have available, and I'm like, I got one A slot and one B slot left, and I'm like, I don't think I
Right.
can have it beat any of the ones that I would put up there. But it is a very good game, and it does go by pretty quick. Um, but I liked how you could say they put, I don't want to say it's not an RPG, but they put RPG elements into it as far as like as you go through and you're fighting and stuff, you collect bouncer points, which you use then to increase your stats. So
Right.
like they have like those little mechanics to it to try to, keep you more engaged and try to strategize how to kind of beef your player up. And you got to go between all three characters as you played. You didn't have to just pick one character and play with that one character the entire game. You could bounce around and play as any one of the three throughout. And I thought that was a really good touch that they put on the game. So that way it kind of gave you a different experience as you were playing. So that way you didn't feel like you just had to play like traditionally with a beat 'em up. You pick one guy and or girl, and
Right.
that's who you play, and that's it. But I felt the presentation for the times was really good. The controls were a little wonky, but
Yeah.
I'll say that overall though it was really really well put together. And for an early PS2 release, the visuals I felt were pretty good, and we kind of
Oh
briefly
yeah.
touched on this, Rad, but the storyline was a little wonky, and the voice acting was a little
The
off,
voice
but
acting. Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, but I would say that yeah, I would definitely say I wouldn't put it any lower than C, but yeah,
No, I'd agree with C.
yeah,
Yeah, I think C's a good spot for it. It's a very underrated game.
yeah. So I see Scorpio
C
saying play
from
with me
Jim.
online, but I don't know what that's in reference to.
I think he's talking about Operation Raccoon City.
Operation Raccoon City. I actually
He
like that
said,
game. Why do people hate that game so much? I thought it wasn't that bad of a game.
I've never really played it. I played it for like 20 minutes the other day when I bought it on the Xbox One because it was on
Yeah.
sale, and that was
Yeah, because like
never really
people
played it.
crapped on it like forever ago, and I remember going to GameStop one day. I mean, this was when the 360 was still relevant, like it was still in its heyday. and
Right.
they had it for like $5 or something, and I was like, well, it looks like a solid game. I'm gonna get it. I mean, I liked it. I didn't see any like why people were so like mad at it. I don't know. I mean,
Right.
I didn't think it was like the best game in the world, but I was like, man, for how much crap this game was getting, I expected it to be a complete dumpster fire, but it
It
really
was,
wasn't.
yeah. Yeah, I need to play it a little bit more. I'm not very familiar with it. I've heard it's better online. I haven't played.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. I don't. You know, I don't think I did play it online either. I think I just played solo and just kind of worked through it, and that was about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see here. The lovely chat. What were you guys saying? C? I think Ken said
Yep.
C.
Yep. Ken said C.
Yeah.
Nobody
So,
else voted on that one.
all
That one
right.
probably again is another one no one's really played.
Okay. All right. So we'll leave that one there. I'm going back to ours. What do you get? You got The Suffering, Resident Evil 4, Dark Watch, and Sly Cooper, I believe is what you have left. Yes. So then I got
Okay.
Beautiful Joe, Maximo, Battlefront 2, and Ratchet and Clank.
And I got an S tier. I got a C tier. I got two C tiers, two D tiers. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go Resident Evil 4. That's gonna be S
I
tier.
already knew it. Oh, I knew it.
Yep.
I knew it because and like when we first started doing this, I was like Dark. I was shocked you put Dark Cloud at A, but I thought that and Resident Evil 4, I was like, that's going to S, like right out of the gate. That's where I thought that was gonna be.
Yeah, no, I Dark Cloud, like I said, oof, it was close, but no, Resident Evil 4, that's an easy S tier for me. That game is phenomenal. I don't care what anybody said in our recent horror video. "Oh, this isn't a horror game," but it's
Oh,
a horror game. It's classified as a horror game. It's
yes.
scary. Yeah, it took the game in like a newer direction, added more action and things like that. But
Yeah.
dude, that did not make it any less like of a good. That game is great.
No, it was a
That is a
fantastic
great
game. It
game.
really was.
Yeah. Like it's my like favorite Resident Evil game. Like yeah, it's and Village came close. Village almost took it, but yeah, that one is just I love it. And Village only almost took it because it's like more horror Resident Evil 4. Like that's all. Like it's a great game. Love that game.
I'll agree that I'll say out of the Resident Evil games I've played, because I've played one and two, three I've only got to play a little bit into, but I played one and two all the way through.
Okay.
4, 5, and I started playing Biohazard. I probably only got maybe about an hour into it, not very far. And I did like the way that they tried to present it. It's not what I was expecting. And I only got about maybe halfway through Village. I didn't get all the way through yet on there. But 4, I
Oh,
can totally agree. I
so good.
played through it so many times on the PS2.
Yep.
And then the Mercenaries, oh man, I loved playing the Mercenary stuff. Oh man, I absolutely loved it. Like I remembered that at first I used to think that Hunk sucked, but when you get good at doing headshots and you just do like one shot to shoot them in the eye and then you break their neck, I'm like,
Yep.
oh man, you start just going nuts. Just like, oh, it's
Yep.
so good. He's like the best one to use out of it. But will say that, like you said, yeah, is it as quote unquote maybe scary horror like the originals were, or maybe not, it wasn't quite like that, but it was still horror. I mean, it just, regardless of how somebody wants to argue how it was presented, it's still a horror game.
Yep.
And I still, and I'll be honest, and I meant it too, like when I first played it and the chainsaw wielding chicks came flying out, like they freaked me
Yeah.
the hell out. Same thing with the
Yep.
guy, the big brute with the chainsaw, like they legit freaked me out. And I'm like, because I didn't expect it, and I'm going, oh god, and they're just like just chasing, running right at you, and I freaked out. And I think the first time it happened, I did end up getting killed because I freaked out, and I was like, no, my god, and just had a little spaz moment. But yeah, I mean, there were still elements to it that could freak you out. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's
That's what it was goofy. I'm not gonna deny that. I'm not gonna say the voice acting was things like it would, but it's still like there were moments like and I don't know. It drove me crazy. It's not a horror game like that. Okay, okay, like I don't know. It's a great horror game, despite what anybody may say.
all right. So the chat is saying they're gonna put same thing. Put Resident Evil 4 up in the S tier. So
Nice.
now they got one slot left for S. You and I have completed ours, even though I have a little bit of regrets on the Tony Hawk one. I think I did that one a little prematurely. I think I should have put it at A, but it's okay. I'll let it sit.
It's okay as we keep going. I keep saying I should have put Dark Cloud at S tier. It's in my brain like goofed.
You put it too low. I put that one too high. It's okay. That's the fun thing about it, though. That's fun. Okay, so next. Oh man, this is tough.
One day, Farrell. One day.
I'm gonna have to go. Battlefront 2's got to go A.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree
yeah,
with that. You don't have any S tiers open left, do you? Yeah,
no,
I'd have to go.
yeah, but I'd have to, yeah, that Battlefront 2. Oh man, I'm telling you, if nobody has ever played the original Battlefront or even played either of these games, I would say play the first one. Not saying it's a bad game, but you play it. The reason is because then when you go and play Battlefront 2, you're gonna go, wow, like the leaps and bounds are just, they're so out there. Like I did not expect there to be that big of differences. And for me, sadly, I actually played Battlefront 2 first. So when I went and I played the first one, it kind of took it away. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, what the hell? Like this is it? Like there's no Jedi's, there's no this, there's no that. It's just, I mean, it was still fun, but
Right.
I kept wanting to go back to play Battlefront 2 because I was like, I got all these extra features now. It's like, okay. I mean, like I got it in my collection and stuff, but if I were to play one out of the two, it's always going to be 2 every single time.
Oh yeah. Like I like one for the prime example of, the Jedis they had in that were cool. So when you're going up against Vader, Vader cannot die. You're shooting rockets at him and things like that, and he cannot die. But then two, they just hit it out of the park. You got sky battles. You can play as the Jedis now. The maps, so you have all the maps from one, and then you have all the new ones which went into the third movie. Dude, it was just crazy. It was
Yeah.
phenomenal. It was really good. No, I have to agree with that. That's an A.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and the online experience was insane. That was one of the mind you, that was one of the first outside of playing Counter-Strike. If nobody knows what that is, Counter-Strike was like OG
Oh man.
FPS back in the day. Like before COD was a thing, it was Counter-Strike. So
Yep.
outside of Counter-Strike, this was like my first console because Counter-Strike I played on PC. So Battlefront 2 was my first console online FPS experience, and man, it blew my mind. I loved it. Um, but yeah, so where does the chat want Battlefront 2?
Oh, and Ken, you can play it in third person. It's not first person exclusive.
Yeah, it's
He
not.
said I
Yeah,
like
you can
FPS
switch
first.
it either way. Yeah,
Yeah.
I personally preferred it third because when I like would
Same.
dive and stuff like that, I just but I didn't
Yeah.
mind first person though either.
See, that's a game we need to get like the whole like SRF crew
Oh
on and
man,
play some Battlefront, dude. That'd be wild.
yeah, yeah. Well, I guess I'm not seeing any feedback from the chat here on where they want it. So I guess for now, I'll put it in B since they had no A slots left.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but if Ken hasn't played it, I doubt Farrell's played it. I'm surprised Belmont hasn't played it.
Okay. So what do you got next?
Let's see. Oh, Belmont said Battlefront 2 goes B for me,
Okay.
unless we have an A slot open.
Yeah. No. Nope. A's and B's are now done, and you got one S, and then two C's, and then three D's.
All right, let's see. What am I gonna do?
It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Remind me what I got one more time.
So you
I
got
can pull it up.
Suffering, Dark Watch, and Sly Cooper.
Okay, and I'm gonna do Dark Watch. Do I have a B tier left, or am I closed
You
on my Bs?
got no. You got actually, now that I look at it, technically you were out of B's. I put Punisher in B because you did Vice City and Kingdom Hearts.
Yep.
So Punisher would have to go either to C or D.
Oh man, all right, I'm gonna put Dark Watch at C then.
Dark Watch at C. What about
Yeah,
Punisher?
Punisher B.
Okay,
Punisher would
Punisher.
be B.
Well, you had Kingdom Hearts and Vice City, so you already got 2 there. So you got
Dang
2
it.
in B, you got 2 in A, and you got 2 in S. So it's either got to go in C or D.
Yeah, C.
C.
It's not. It's
Okay.
not. It's not D. It's definitely not
Okay.
D.
It just worked its way down. I think it started at A,
It
then
just
we moved it to
works.
B
Yeah,
now,
it's just
and down
it
to C.
progressively
It's like,
falls lower.
damn it. Ah, okay. All right. So you said Dark Watch is going to go in C.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, so that would have been higher, but I goofed. No, so Dark Watch, for those who haven't played it, is a first-person Western horror shooter game.
Hmm.
So you play as a outlaw turned vampire, and it's like Blade. So like if you're in the daylight, you don't have your vampire abilities and your health will drain. Versus at nighttime, you can like use all your vampire powers. So you're flying around, jumping, like it's crazy. And that game is terrifying and brutal all at the same time. It is such a good game. It's Capcom, for those who didn't know.
Oh, nice.
And High Moon, I want to say, if I'm correct. And yeah, it was phenomenal. I love Dark Watch. Underrated game.
I'm gonna have to check it out because I'd never played it either. So,
Oh,
and
so good, dude.
yeah,
You'll enjoy it.
hell yeah. So I guess chat, and I'll check real quick, see where you guys are thinking it should be if you guys have played it.
Belmont says he
Haven't
hasn't
played
played
enough.
enough of Dark Watch to completely rank it. Yeah.
Okay. So for right now, we'll say same thing. We'll put that C for now, unless somebody says otherwise. Or if you guys just want to use it for a D slot, because if you're looking at the other stuff that's down here that's available and you guys have played it and you feel like one of those games should not be in the D, you can always say Dark Watch can drop down there. But I'll leave it at C for now until I hear back from you guys. So, that being said, all right, getting back to me. Oh, God. Okay. I'm going to go. Damn, this is really tough. It really is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sitting here, I'm going, well,
I'm reworking my entire list. I goofed.
oh man, I'm telling you, like I goofed. I did too. I feel like I goofed a couple times. I'm like, yeah, okay. Cause I'm sitting here looking like Beautiful Joe in my mind. I'm like, yeah, I could totally live with that being in a B. But then I'm thinking Maximo, same thing. Then Ratchet and Clank, same thing. I'm like, nah. It's like one of them's got to go down, and I'm like, I guess. Gosh, dang it. All right, Maximo, I'm gonna go B. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's gonna be it. I think. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that being the B. Yeah. So if anybody has not played that, that's there. I think there's 2 of them. I think. I know I should say I know there's at least 2 of them. I don't know if there's 3 is why I said that. But
There's 2 of them.
okay, so there's 2.
On the PS2, yeah, there's 2.
Okay. So this one was the first one, I believe, and this is the only one that I've actually played. But I was introduced to it actually about a year ago, and I was told the reason why was because I was trying to go through and I was playing Ghouls and Ghosts on the Genesis, and I was trying to go through and get as many achievements as I could, because there's one achievement I don't have, which is you have to play through the whole game twice without using a continue. So I probably will never do that, because I don't even know if I could get through it. I might be able to get through it one time without using a continue, but twice that'd be a stretch. But Yeah, so I was introduced to this because I was told that this was supposed to be the continuation of Ghouls and Ghosts, but obviously 3D and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, cool. So then I started playing, and oh man, I completely just sucked in right away. I loved it. Loved how it looked. Loved how everything played. Just the animation style I thought was really good. Just the way how the interactions are, like when you're hitting enemies, and just everything. The bits of collecting in there as well. It just man, just really really good game. And obviously there's platforming involved, like any sort of Ghouls and Ghosts game, and outside of the this hacking and slashing, if you will. But it's well put together, and one that if you have not played it, you've got to try to check it out if you can. And if you don't believe me, obviously, you can go onto YouTube and find somebody out there who has played it, and you can see what you're going to be looking at when you're trying to play this game. And I'm sure you'll go, okay, I can see why the guys were suggesting this.
Yeah, I've never played them. I know. Everybody tells me I need to.
Yeah,
They actually get
dude,
brought up quite
yeah.
often.
If you like Ghouls and Ghosts, you definitely, yeah, you'd love it. You would. It's
Yeah,
cool. It's a
they're
good
on the
game.
list.
Yeah, it's good. So I guess chat while
You pissed Ken off.
Rad's putting his one of his D tiers up to discuss. Let me know where you guys think Maximo should go on your guys' list, because right now you have an S tier left, a C tier unless you want Dark Watch in D, because I still have yet to hear back from anybody on that. Or if you want Dark Watch and C, you guys got 3 slots left in the bottom tier. So, and just remember, you got the Suffering, Beautiful Joe, Maximo, Ratchet and Clank, and Sly Cooper. And I haven't personally got to play Sly Cooper, but I have played the other 4. And even having 3 of those games being in D would just be a sham.
Yeah, I'm looking at this right now. I got the Suffering and Sly Cooper both have to go D on mine, and it just feels wrong. It does not feel
It's
right.
terrible. I feel violated.
It's so wrong. I'm so upset.
So what's the
Yeah,
first one you want to talk about?
we'll go Sly Cooper.
Sly Cooper?
Definitely
Okay.
should be higher, but it's going D sadly. Sly Cooper is a platformer stealth game. You play as Sly, and the first one was more styled like Crash Bandicoot, in my opinion. More platforming. It focused less on the stealth. But I loved this game. I think one is the best one in my opinion. I know as 2 and 3 came out, they focused more on stealth and stealing and things like that. But man, that first one was just the areas you'd go to, the bosses. I streamed it with Belmont not long ago. We had an absolute blast. It's such a good game. It does not deserve to be in D, but this is where we're at.
Yeah, and I was there for a bit, and I got to watch you play it, and it was, similar to the types of games that I prefer to play, and I liked, from what I got to see, I liked it, and I was like, okay, this is one that's going to be on the list for sure. That when I get around to trying out another game on the PS2, this one's going to be definitely on there for sure. So
Oh, you'll enjoy it.
oh yeah,
You'll enjoy
it
it.
definitely looks like something I thoroughly would enjoy for sure. So
Yeah.
Belmont says Sly goes S since I can't put it in A. Does anybody in the chat disagree with that? So, because you
Rad
guys got
agrees.
one slot for S, and the games that are left are Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, Beautiful Joe, and The Suffering.
Do
So,
I count as chat if I type?
huh? Oh.
Do I count as chat if I type?
I have to right some of these wrongs. Oh, well, I'll put it in S for now until
Yeah, there we go. That's where it deserves to be.
okay. All right. So I guess I'll put it there for now, and then going back to ours. Oh man, see, this is where it's just like this is painful for me.
Yeah, it's bad. We goofed.
Oh man, because I'm like Beautiful Joe. Like I can't, like putting either of these games in C just feels just wrong. Like
At
both
least
of
you don't
these
have a
at the very
D.
least are B at the minimum.
Oh
Both.
yeah.
God. Yeah. I guess without shoot. I guess what I'll have to say is, and I'll have to be honest with myself, is if I were to compare the two, what would be the one that I could probably say I get the most, I'd replay the most. Believe it or not, as much as of a beat 'em up person as I am, I really do love platformers, and I'll have to say I got to put Ratchet and Clank in B. I
Oh,
think,
okay.
yeah. I mean, and I love Beautiful Joe. That game is phenomenal. And I think putting it in C is a travesty, but it's just like, ah, God, it hurts.
Regret.
It just hurts so much. But yeah, for those if you have not played Ratchet and Clank, I mean, there's just so much with it. Obviously, platforming, you got shooting and collecting. I mean, it's just a little bit of everything for the most part. And of course, it's 3D platforming. And, you know, I was going to say good 3D platforming because I say that because even with the PS2, I think you could say that was the leap because N64 and PlayStation 1 3D platforming. Not saying it was all bad, don't get me wrong, but you got to start somewhere, right? And there was a lot of games that kind of missed the mark on how it was
Mhm.
presented on the 3D platforming spectrum. And going into the PS2, that's when you started seeing things like, you know, Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank and stuff like that. With the way that they
Yep.
presented the platforming and camera angles and stuff like that, it was much, much better than how it was presented on the PS1 and N64. And yeah, I will definitely say it's one that if you're definitely even remotely into platformers, you got to give it a shot. I mean, I can't suggest it enough. To well put together game.
I second that.
Okay, so going back to the chat, so Ratchet for you, Belmont can go C.
Yep.
Ken said S. Is that for was that for Sly Cooper or Ratchet and Clank? Because I know I did ask him to post up in the chat about Sly Cooper. So and they came after yours, Rad, but I'm assuming that was probably for Sly Cooper. I think.
No, it came recent, like Beautiful Joe. God, Ken, get off Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe.
Been saying that the whole time. He just keeps saying Beautiful Joe S.
Uh,
Sly is an A.
so so I guess we're gonna need the tiebreaker there, Rad. So Sly gonna stay in S?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So Sly's gonna stay in S. Oof. All right. So that means Ratchet goes down to D, and sadly, Beautiful Joe is gonna be a D for the chat.
Oh no.
Sorry, Ken. Yeah. Ah, God. I know. It just feels like there's just so many wrongs here.
Yeah. Well, we goofed because yeah, I regret my entire decisions.
All right. So getting to Rad's last one, which is the suffering for D.
Oh, that just doesn't feel right. Oh man, the suffering. Have you played it?
I got to play. I played a little bit of it on a live stream, and then a little bit by myself. But I only got. I want to say only about 3 or 4 hours into it though. But it was
Oh,
good
okay.
from where I got. Anyways, it was seeming like it was really good up like just from the start point to where I got.
Yeah, so it's a really good horror game. It's a third slash first because you can do both. You basically you're a guy named Torque who's in jail for killing his family, and while you're in there, monsters take over the prison and just start offing prisoners, staff. Like it's so good, and the setting for this, I say this all the time. A horror game needs a good setting. It needs a good
Oh yeah.
environment. Like without that, you lose everything about it.
Oh yeah.
And being locked in a prison,
Mm-hmm.
a place where you would think, is normally not a safe place in general, but now it's really not safe. Like it's so good. Like it's so good. Such a phenomenal game. Second one was but the first one is like top tier, like really good games.
I will say.
Obviously not here. It's in D list,
Oh
but
yeah. Oh yeah. See. Yeah, keeping us capped at 2 per tier definitely shook things up a little bit more than what I was even
Yeah.
expecting, and I'm like, "Damn it, this is so wrong." But yeah, the suffering that got thrown out from people in the chat. They were looking for a game because I asked, was talking about some different games to play, and this one got thrown out because people were, wanting me to play, Freddy's, and I was like, it's not my speed. But then this one got thrown out, and I was like, okay, and I've started playing it, and like you said, oh yeah, the vibes, oh
Oh,
yeah, I loved it. I was like, oh
so
yeah,
good.
it's like this is my cup of tea right here. This is
Yeah,
some good
right?
stuff. Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely one I definitely need to go back and finish. And it's like seeing it, I'm like, yeah, some of these games like that one was one. Maximo. Let's see here. What else on here? Ratchet and Clank. I want to go back and play again. I'm just going.
Yeah, it really it makes you wanna play games, like, now I have
Yeah,
the strong desire to play Shadow of Colossus again.
yeah.
Like, this is good because it gives you that, like, "Oh, man, I need to play that,"
Oh
that's why
yeah.
this is so fun.
Oops, wrong one. Whoopsie daisy. Click the wrong scene. My bad, guys.
Hit that dislike button!
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So let's see here. Going back to the chat here. Yeah. No A slots
So,
left for you
you
guys. You
really
have
like
nothing but
Siren.
D's. So no matter what.
Siren is great.
So suffering goes
Sorry.
to D, and then your guys' beautiful Joe goes to D. That's just like blasphemy. It's like, how's that?
Ken just disliked and left.
Oh man. So, well, remember, guys, I was telling you like throughout, I was like, hey, if you guys just want to, if there's a game that maybe you guys didn't play or something, scrap it to the D column. But, you guys didn't say nothing. So I just kept putting them where they lied. Oh, based off availability and where we had it. Okay. So, obviously, last for myself was Beautiful Joe and C. And even, like I said, C, that doesn't even seem like it does it justice. It's like a minimum, it's got to be a B. But, for the sake of the argument, it has to go with C because I couldn't honestly tell myself that I thought I enjoyed it better than either
Mhm.
Maximo or Ratchet and Clank. As much as I do love the game and think it's fantastic on how it just everything was presented, the battle mechanics, just the movements, just everything. It was just so well put together. And obviously being a beat 'em up, it's like, okay, it's already there for me. But yeah, this was one that when I played it, and I honestly, I didn't even get to play it. This was another recent play that I played it little over a year ago is when I first played it. And I have yet to play the second one, which I want to, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But
Mhm.
I definitely loved it, even though this is one of those games again. You're talking about PS2, right? And I know this had a GameCube release as well, but we're in the 3D era, and this is like technically a 2D game. It's that pseudo 3D with how they do certain things,
Yep.
but you got a 2D game that is just presented so well, and just everything about it was just so good, and it stood up with everything that they were trying to push as far as all the new 3D stuff. And it's like, yeah, well, we got this 2D game here, and everyone's like, and it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
it was so good, and one that again haven't played it, gotta play it.
I just found out today it was on the PS2. I thought it was a GameCube exclusive. I don't know why I thought that, but today I learned it was not.
Yeah, and irony is I can remember. I can, honest to God, remember seeing this game on the shelf at GameStop, and I snubbed it without even looking at the back of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I looked at it, I was like, oh, what the hell is this crap? Because I thought it was like some kiddie game, That's what I
Right.
thought at first. And this was before. Keep in mind, people, this is before YouTube and stuff like that. So I had no way to go and watch a review or any gameplay. It was just, back in those days, you still were looking at the front and the back of the cover and hoping for the best. And I didn't even look at the back of it. I just looked at the front and was like, oh, this is probably some like kiddie game or some crap like that. And I
Right.
didn't give it a shot. And but that same day was the same day that I got God of War, so I guess it wasn't too bad of a move because it was either hypothetically speaking, it would have been either I bought Beautiful Joe or I bought the original God of War. So I felt like I did okay that day. But yeah, that is our list. So let's just go back through real quick. For our S tier, we have Tony Hawk's Underground, which I, again, should have probably put it A, maybe, or maybe even B in hindsight. But Shadows of the Colossus and God of War and Resident Evil 4. For our S tier, for your guys's was Shadows of the Colossus, God of War, Resident Evil 4, Sly Cooper, and then your guys' A was Kingdom Hearts, Tony Hawk's Underground, Evil Dead, and Jak and Daxter. Our A tier was Dark Cloud, Evil Dead, Jak and Daxter, which is pretty similar. The only difference was Battlefront 2. You guys had Underground instead of Battlefront. So then your guys' B tier was Dark Cloud, Vice City, Punisher, and Battlefront 2. Our B tier was Kingdom Hearts, Vice City, Maximo, and Ratchet and Clank. And then our C tier was The Bouncer, Punisher, Dark Watch, Beautiful Joe, which, again, yeah, it's so bad. And then your guys' C tier was Fight Night Round 2, Bouncer, Dark Watch, Maximo. And then your guys' D tier was Gauntlet, Dark Legacy, Ratchet and Clank, The Suffering, and Beautiful Joe, which I know Ken is just like wanting to punch his monitor right now, or if he's watching on his phone, just throw it across the room. And then our D tier was Fight Night Round 2, Gauntlet, Dark Legacy, Sly Cooper, and The Suffering, which, yeah. I mean, I'm okay with my D tier, but I know you're not okay with your D tier at all.
No, I'm not. My list was, I would change everything.
I change it all. Oh, gosh.
Change it all.
But it is nice to just see kind of like in the moment, where do we go? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Because then, of course, hindsight's always 2020. Then you're like, you know what? That wasn't the best decision I could have made. All right. Well, you know what, guys? I had a great time. What say you, Rad?
Oh, it was a blast. Loved it.
Yeah, it went by pretty damn quick when I see where you've been on for almost 2 hours. I'm like, hell yeah, this has been a good
Has it
good
really
time.
been?
Yeah, hour and
Yeah, I
42
didn't realize
minutes.
that.
So I guess I'll do our little, typical closing statements here. Obviously, I mean, I'll say it and I'll let Rad elaborate on this. But not only obviously can you find me here, but you can find myself and Rad on our team channel, the Super Retro Force, which the link for not only our team channel, but for all of the guys that are on the team, their YouTube links are also in the description below. So you guys can check all of them out as well, in addition to not only my channel, but the team channel. But is there anything you want to pop off on real quick, maybe about the team? Anything that you'd want to disclose maybe to somebody who might not know about, what goes on with the channel?
Yeah, so I mean, we're the Super Retro Force. You guys probably know that by now. A team of now 13 creators who came together to make awesome gaming content, new and old. We got a lot coming to the channel. We finally have the Petrified Pixel series, which I host, which is nothing but horror games year round. We have the Must Play Before You Die. Now that's video game music, which focuses on the best of the video game music that Caesar hosts. We have a couple in the works that I'm not going to talk about just yet because we're still getting the details pumped out on those. But we're planning podcasts and live gameplay nights, and we are currently in October where we're pumping out nothing but horror game related content. But yeah, we got big plans. A 1K special coming up in November because we just hit a K, which mind blown.
Oh yeah, it's
So yeah,
crazy.
definitely check us out. Roy's over there. We're all over there. We have a good time.
Oh yeah, I'll say like I know I've said this before, and I mean this. I've said it a bunch of times to even people that I talk to in Discord that have no affiliation with the group and stuff. Like I've mentioned, like that was the best decision I made, was reaching out to you guys, and then glad that you guys took a shot on me to be able to try to help out as best I can and try to bring what I can to the table, and go through the process. And it's been Honestly, up to this point, like that's why I kind of give you a little bit of crap. I'm gonna pull the curtain back just a little bit so that way people can hear a little bit of stuff that goes on behind the scenes a bit, like with chat and stuff. So I had a little. I mean, I shouldn't even say Brad even agreed to the bet. I just told him that like a week ago. I said that we would get to 1K by Saturday, and he goes, I don't know, man. I was like, oh yeah. I said, ye of little faith. He's like, no, man, we're not going to. I was like, dude, I'm telling you. Because why? I have had a lot of faith in this project from the start. And I'm not saying that just because of where we're at. I mean,
Right.
I honest to God, like when I even said stuff like, well, I honestly think because and it's and it's not even because I know a lot of people could say that it's well, as long as you're uploading stuff, the possibilities are you're gonna grow. That aside, my personal opinion, the guys that we have, I feel we are a very, very well-rounded group of guys and all bring
Oh
something
yeah.
a little bit different, which is what I absolutely like and love about the group of guys we got. And we all have our own way of presenting stuff, which I think people can appreciate. And that was why when I stumbled across you guys, I was like, yeah, I totally want to be a part of this. Like, yeah, this is something I definitely would feel like an idiot if I didn't reach out at the very least to try to see if I could do something with these guys.
Right. Yeah. No. And I definitely agree. I think we all bring a unique kind of feeling to it. Everybody does things their way. You get the best of everybody in every
Yeah.
video. It's I definitely agree with that. No, and yeah, I'm glad you did. Like I remember back to that what was it? My buddy was running our social at the time. He's like, "Hey, somebody reached out." I was like, "Somebody actually reached out?" I was like, "Wow, okay, cool. That's awesome." I was like, "Well, that's crazy."
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's definitely I owe you what was it? A steak and a baked potato. I threw
Yeah,
the baked
loaded
potato
baked
guy on
potato.
last
That's
minute.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yes. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I might even have to crack a beer open on that one. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Why does this deal keep it went from a steak to a loaded
Well,
baked potato, now there's a
I
beer involved?
BYOB. I'll bring my own, okay?
Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, I mean, I will say anybody who might be lurking about, I'm telling you guys, yes, even we just cracked 1K over there on the team channel, and some people might still be like, "Well, you guys are just small." I'm telling you, we might be small on a number scale, but I'm telling you, the quality, we do great things.
It's good.
And I'm telling
Definitely good.
you guys will definitely be happy with what we got coming up. And the guys do a lot of good work behind the scenes. And I've told Rad a bunch of times I do not envy him because I was in a similar position as him on a project a few years ago, and yeah, it can be taxing. So that's why I tell him I don't envy you, man, but I do appreciate all of the hard work that everybody does because I know it's not easy. And yeah, I'll just end with you know where to find us. The links are below. Super Retro Force team channel. Obviously, you're here, so you know where my channel is at. If you haven't already, I would appreciate if you did subscribe. Or if not, at least give me a thumbs up to let me know you enjoyed your time while you were here.
Yep.
And all
Yep.
that being said, thanks for hanging in there with us, everybody. And I will see you guys in a couple weeks when I do the next stream.